This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Daura Gold, Mr. Mark Sumner. Mark, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Gerardo. How are you?
I am fantastic. Look, we have record high copper prices, record high silver prices, gold above 4,200, a dollar that's weakening, $39 trillion in debt here in the US. And it seems like a lot of runway. Company specific, you just announced some high grade surface sampling results that were really, really impressive and caught the market's attention. I would be remiss if I didn't, however, start with your neighbor's drill results from a few days back. Highlander Silver hit 23.9 meters of 20.82 grams per ton gold at San Luis. That obviously has, implications for Daura and the team. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the drill results from Highlander were nothing short of spectacular, right? And more specifically, coming from their Bonita project, which I think is uh, even more interesting for us than San Luis specifically because of how Dora's land package effectively wraps around and surrounds Bonita on four sides. And so some of their results are really interesting. Interesting for us also, the orientation of these drill holes, effectively directed straight at Dora's border to the northeast, where our property at Libelula sits, intersecting high grade mineralization over 6 grams gold, approximately 80 meters from Dora's border. And where we've mapped these quartz veins at surface on the Libelula side, and these veins extend into our property. We also need to see explore a little bit further how these veins extend to the southeast into our property. But I mean, we're looking at 6.8 grams gold, 30 grams silver intersect about 80 meters from the border. It's really, really exciting. So I mean, for the Libelula's project, we're looking at getting our permissions in place so that we can actually go out there and sample those veins at surface. We've got some of the mapping done. But that was the property that we picked up from Barrick earlier in the year. And it's really just a function of timing as to when we can actually get permission to go out and do some sampling and do some surface work in the first instance. It's mostly a function of the change of registry at the Ministry of Mines. So it's more of a bureaucratic exercise at this stage, but it's happening slowly but surely. And certainly in the new year, we intend to get out there and have a much closer look at that. But just to speak to our results, from north of the main zone of Antonella, which is on trend with Bonita, where they've got, where they've been delivering these spectacular drill results. We're finding vein extensions showing really strong expression at surface with incredibly high grades, quite a bit further north from the main zone, where we have some of our historical drilling and some of the spectacular intercepts that we have from the past drilling results or the past drilling program. But we're seeing, in this last round, over 57 grams gold and 125 grams silver, and nearly 25 grams gold, 128 grams silver from sampling these veins at surface. So there's still a lot of work to do, but it's just, the way that Highlander is delivering spectacular drill results, and we're starting to really define, the structure of the deposit at Antonella, how it relates to the project of Bonita. It's just, incredibly exciting.
No, listen, it sets up what I think is going to be a transformational 2026 for the company. Can you speak to, how you envision that and what that likely is going to look like in the first few months there to start out the new year?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna continue. I think we're gonna continue looking at the structure of the Antonella project. In the first instance, we're doing a bit of work on the drill core right now to refine our model. and take sort of a closer look at that, and then and see how structurally, because we're right in that same structural corridor as Bonita. We want to see structurally how these things relate to each other. So in the first few months of the year, we intend to refine our geological model. Continue to map and sample, which is important, because we're trying to sort of really get a sense of what this deposit really looks like at surface as we feed this data into our drill permits. And so, we intend to file for drill permits as soon as we possibly can. That's a function of engaging a DIA consultant. We're in that process right now of getting a DIA consultant on board. So in the first few months at Antonella, that's really what we're going to be working on, is refining our geological model, really optimizing the data that we have, because we've got 2,500 meters of really high quality drill core that needs to be looked at closer, and we need to refine that model, and we'll continue to map and sample as we can. And as soon as we possibly can, get out into Libalula, as the property that effectively wraps around that Bonita target, and less than 100 meters from the what Highlander is calling the Kusi zone. We want to get out and do some work out there as soon as we can. But priority is always getting a DIA consultant in place and completing all of those requirements, to get drill permits filed.
No, listen, it's going to be, again, I think transformational 2026 couldn't happen with a better market, right? Given the backdrop that we have right now. Anything to add to that, Mark?
Look, I mean, the only thing that I'll add is Tayakoto, which is another project that we have, which is sort of in this San Luis complex to the northeast. It's just east of Highlander's Daniela target. That has sort of sat in the background a little bit for most of this year. We're starting to bring that a little bit closer to the surface as we do some work and gather more data. So I want to highlight that a little bit, because Tayakoto is shaping up to be a really exciting prospect. And so I expect to continue producing data from Tayakoto, and shaping that project up as well. And we're plugging away in Argentina. We announced an option to earn into Cerro Bayo, which is a really exciting gold and silver prospect in the Deseado Massif. And those, we're working very quickly to get those programs on foot. So you'll see more news and information coming from Argentina as well.
No, look, exciting times. Mark, always great to have you on. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right. Cheers. Chat soon. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.